Hello everyone, welcome to Life Boost here. Please follow and subscribe to my content here. I'm really excited to talk about my topic with you guys. I'm here to speak with a man by the name of Julian Ramsuchit. Julian Ramsuchit is a professional athlete currently at this time and also a professional model. And he's also sponsored by Mutant Mass Products. I'd really like to introduce my friend here, Julian Ramsuchit. How you doing, man?
Hey Ryan, man, it's good to be here, dude. And you know what, man, I really appreciate you, speaking your mind, because for me, man, it's we spoke about this earlier, I just like keeping pretty humble. I don't you know what I mean? It's when it comes down to speaking about myself, but I do appreciate the words, man. You're a good friend, man. I'm glad I can be on your podcast. I'm glad I can, help you out along your way, and hopefully, hopefully everything in your endeavors with this podcast goes. But, the biggest touching point that I really enjoyed about it is just the fact that, we're going to be talking about mental health. And, if I can inspire or help anybody along the way, just to, get their mind or put them in some type of direction, I definitely would, like to see that happen, man. I feel like there's a lot of people that, don't have that level of direction nowadays. And, I don't preach and say I'm perfect or anything like that, man. But, to be honest with you, it's just everybody's always learning. And the moment when you feel like, you can't learn anymore, man, there's always more to be learned. So, yeah.
No, it's fantastic, right?
Yeah.
And it's really nice to be able to speak with you today, right?
Yeah.
And be able to talk about mental, physical, and spiritual health on a very good level. And that's what my channel is all about. My channel is trying to create and save lives, and I have a big passion for mental health and trying to make people feel more accepted in society and people to feel like they can accomplish their day-to-day goals.
Yeah.
Because I found nowadays it's super hard to manage your goals. It's hard to manage your tasks and your dreams.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are having issues with this, but people just don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
People just don't want to say, hey, how do I actually do this? Instead of us just saying, go work out or go do this or go do that, we're actually going to be giving you guys some ample advice. And I really think that you should take in a lot of this because he is offering great advice. He's offering a lot of positive change. He's offering a lot of great things within the fitness industry. And his background being a professional athlete and being in the gym for so many years and developing his art and developing his sculpture and his character of his well-being, this is big steps that a lot of athletes don't really put the time in, or even individuals, right? And it's nice to see people in society nowadays putting the time in for themselves and putting the time in to love who they are. And I really do think that you really exemplify that. And it's nice to see you really open up the world of fitness and understanding that it's okay to love what you love doing. And I've been seeing the success that you've been going through, and I've been more than happy and proud. And I think it's awesome. I think it's really amazing that you've reached your goals and you're reaching what you want to do in life. And not a lot of people really want to wake up and say, hey, what do I want to do to better myself? What do I want to do to motivate myself to be better? And I think you're going to be the man to share that story because honestly it's a pleasure being with you on the show, right? So
yeah I appreciate it, Ryan. And like I said, man, the one biggest thing, man, that I definitely want people to take away from this interview is just love what you love doing, man. It's like what you said, it's like and if you don't love doing what you're doing, then really reevaluate your life, man. Through journaling, through reading, through just self-experiencing, man. Some people go through a lot of different things in life, man. And, just because, your parents tell you to do something or your friends tell you to do something, that doesn't necessarily mean you should go in the direction in that way, right? It's like when I was growing up, man, in small town, I used to do musicals, for example, and I used to do a lot of vocals. I was in a band.
Very cool.
And that's one thing that I push myself in doing. I still enjoy doing vocals and stuff, but one of the biggest takeaways is that my parents didn't always support it. And, that was one of my first lessons in life. Life will always give you lessons. And one of the first ones was, I didn't follow that passion when I knew I could have done really well. It was funny, man. I used to have a drama teacher in high school. You know what his nickname was for me, man? It was my nickname to him, for me, was Superstar. He just always called me superstar. I just laugh. I just laugh at him. I just laugh at him, man, because like I really gave a lot of passion, and that's the thing too, man. A lot of people want the easy way. No one wants to give that 110% anymore. No one wants to give that that focus. You know what I mean? No one wants to give that drive anymore, that raw personality, because to some extent, it's like, some people are just like, they don't know how to handle their emotions. I don't say don't be emotional. I say you learn how to handle your emotions. That's one thing that I always work on. I'll never say I'm perfect at anything. I still look at myself as like just a dude out here that just works out, and you know what I mean, and is thankful for everything that, the sponsorship, magazine publishing, like I will always forever be grateful for me for that. And you know what, man, like I always appreciate like, people recognizing me for that, like you do, to like, and it just leaves me speechless, man. Like, because I do really honestly wish that everybody could reach this level. But the thing is, man, like just people just want an easy fix. They want the easy way out. You know what I mean? I never believe in anything but hard work, man. In with the culture we live in now, it's like it's the Insta culture, right? Like the Instagram publishing culture. It's the skip the dishes culture. It's the everything right away culture. Like I deserve this or I deserve like, that.
I want it now, and if I don't get it now, I'm gonna have a temper tantrum over it. Right, and the thing is that like what you said earlier, right? What is a good habit that we could start telling people to improve on? Like, you know what I mean? Like we were talking about the victim card. We were talking about I don't have this, I don't have that, and it's not right in front of me now. Just because it's not in front of you now doesn't mean that it's not going to come to you, right? So, what would you recommend to people that are in the fitness industry and that feel this victim card, and what would you recommend them to get them out of that mindset so that they can actually reach for the sky, and actually reach for that goal?
I'd say like one of the biggest things to get out of like that victim mindset, and one thing that I did, and like counseling's huge, man. Like dealing with those traumas that you have in life, man, and like, and from a spiritual aspect, like people believe in past life traumas, you know what I mean? And that's one thing I believe in too, going further in depth with that, right? And actually like dealing with that, man, because, for all you have a whole ancestry worth of trauma that you got to deal with, and that's all on you, you know what I mean? And some people like living their life like I called them earlier, man. I called people NPCs, man, because they just live in this matrix. And it's like, you got to learn to crack that, get out of that victim mindset, and then realize, man, that the world's a fucking lonely place. The world is a lonely place, man. And yeah, you can have your support team around you, but at the same time, man, it's like, you really got to understand that it's just you. You know what I mean? The moment you start relying on anybody else for anything, man, it's like, it's good to help out your brothers, right? And your sisters or whatever. But at the same time, man, it's like you got to do them a favor and do yourself a favor, man. And just really put them in the direction where they can like leave the nest and fly on their own, right? One thing I always refer to people whenever I have buddies that I train and stuff like that, man, and I say, hey man, just look at me as like the mother bird, and I'm just like teaching you how to fly, and then when you're out of this nest, man, it's like I want you to be able to do your own thing, you know what I mean? But the thing is, there's too many people are weak-minded, too many people are just caught up with social media, and too many people are just caught up with this I deserve this mentality, or like the me mentality. It's like, or like the, like judgy mentality where it's like, oh, this guy did this, so he obviously like ended up with a body like that. Well, it's like, no, man, that's not how it works, man. It's like
time, commitment, and a lot of goals to really suffer this, right? And I find that a lot of athletes nowadays, compared to a lot of other people in the industry, they're a lot more challenged within public media. They're a lot more challenged in a lot of other areas compared to celebrities within movie films, compared to a lot of people that are in different industries. But I found primarily in the fitness industry in particular, they're very keen on your image, and they're very keen on, if this is not perfect, you're not good enough. But in reality, you are. And everybody has different body types, and everybody has different styles. It's just a matter of finding what your style is and really loving it. And I think that society has judged too many people to the point where people are now having body image issues and having issues with what they want to love within their body, right? Like I was 225 pounds at one point and I lose 50 pounds. And that 50 pounds was just because of my mindset of just saying, I believe in myself, I love who I am, and I'm going to attack my demons. I'm going to attack my stressors. I'm going to attack all these things so that I could just reach that goal of success. And I find that people just don't want to put that time in anymore. And the issue is that these people that do have these body image issues, or the people that are having these problems, really trying to excel within their body, the biggest thing is confidence and believing in themselves and actually driving to the point where they're no longer a victim. Playing this victim card. Like you said, have the confidence to wake up every day and put the minutes in. Everybody has to put in minutes no matter where you go, whether if you're in a job, whether if you're in a career, or whatever you're doing. But however, you've got to put that time in for yourself. And if you don't, it's going to cause a lot of rainfall for you in the future, right?
Yeah, man.
So what would you recommend to people within fitness industries to do moving forward about mental health for athletes? Like, what would you recommend mental health aspects for people that are in the gym?
I'd say, like, the one biggest aspect where it's like, they definitely gotta, like, just people in general gotta work on when they enter the gym is realize, hey man, it's just you against you. And I'll always, and it's funny, man, and you know, throughout this interview it's gonna sound pretty repetitive, but it's like that's the only way you're gonna get it in people's heads, right? It's literally you versus you. It's not you versus, you know, you're a chick and you're walking in and you gotta compare yourself to the next 3 chicks, you know, doing this exercise. Or, you know, the one thing I see a lot when I go to the gym is, like, you know, I'll do my own exercise and I'll have some, you know, kid come up beside me and try to, like, you know, lift heavier weight than me. And it's just like, hey man, like that is not how you solve your problems. And the biggest thing, and I go back and I say this, man, like, counseling's the biggest thing. If you have those inner demons, you got to deal with them. And then when you're comfortable, it's like, yeah, like, work out at the same time. But man, like, set that ego aside, set that envy aside, right? Everybody's running their own race. It's like, like, when I started working out, man, I was 110 pounds. I was a skinny kid, you know, I used to skateboard, used to, like, you know, hang out with my friends. I go out drinking, whatever, right? Like, I lived that lifestyle, man. And then I made that change because I didn't want to do that anymore, but I made the change for me. And that's why I excelled to being the person that I am, with, like, sponsorships and, you know, all these other opportunities that are opening up for me, man, because I didn't limit myself to what I know I could do, but I knew I had to solve certain things within inside of me before I could excel. And, you know, I keep learning every year, man. You know, you have those, life will always throw you curveballs, man. Always understand that. Life will always throw you a curveball and it sees how you react to it, man. And when it comes down to it, it just, you know, it's like say you're in the gym and then you get a call and, you know, your mom passed away or something like that, man. You know, that's all like curveball stuff, man. And the one thing you got to realize is, like, how you address that, how you address those problems, because life, it's like, never give up on what you're doing. You know what I mean? It's like, never, and I don't take away that from, like, say your mom did pass away, you got that call in the gym, right? You know, like, I don't take away from that. I just say, like, you know, never forget who you are, because there's only one you. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you set yourself to having that victim mindset where it's like, oh, this person got given everything, or this person got given this. Hey, guess what, man? Yeah, some people are born that way. Some people have good genetics. Some people are whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like, hey, man, be happy for that person. Don't be envious for that person. Don't be like judging people. Don't do any of that, man. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's like,
everybody's got a story.
100%.
Everybody's got a story. And that's the biggest issue, that people need to understand, that everybody comes from horrible backgrounds. People come from very horrible, traumatic instances. And then they bring that to the gym. They bring that to their environment that they're in. But however, they don't recognize it as a problem. And I'm glad that you did say, go out and reach for counseling. Go out and actually talk to your demons and face those problems. Because I'm telling you, with the success of you trying to be successful within the gym itself, is by cleaning up your mental mindset and actually cleaning up who you are as a person outside of the gym. You could be a great athlete inside of the gym. You can perform great in your caliber and your art. But I think that in order to really make it to the top, you got to really focus on that mental health aspect. You got to really focus on all those different aspects, because if you don't, it's just going to go fucking downhill.
Yeah.
Like, very fucking quick.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
100%,
and
man.
I'm just
100%.
like, holy fuck, man. Like, I don't know if you've been seeing it or not, but, like, you know, the Olympics are coming out now, and, you know, the development of those athletes, I don't really see a lot of marketing happening for these athletes. I don't really see a lot of change that's really happening in this type of aspect. And it's kind of sad, because back in the day, you know, like, going to the Olympics back in the day was a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
Going back now, but just because COVID's over and there's no more mass marketing about the Olympics, it's kind of an issue.
Yeah.
Right? Or even just talking about, like, you know, pro bodybuilding shows. Like, why don't we have enough pro bodybuilding shows to really advertise and market this? Because I think that that's been a big problem too. Yeah,
well, it's like one of my beliefs, man, is like, you know, like whoever's out there running the show, man, I really believe, you know, they just want people to run that 9 to 5, go to the gym, go on the treadmill 25 minutes, look around, do some weights, and like whatever, like not really have a passion, but like live this like mediocre life, man. And you know, those and you know, as hard as it is, man, it's like, yeah, it's like I do truly believe that, you know, you have to dig inside of you and find that passion inside of you, because everything else is fighting against you, man. Everything else is fighting against you. And never forget that. Never get comfortable in life. Always keep going. Because the thing is, those, like, people just have to understand that concept, right? It's like, when you start from a certain point and then you just like give up because you're just like, hey, I'm comfortable, man. Like I said, I got the white picket fence life or whatever, right? It's like, and then later on, life throws you that curveball and you're not ready for it. It's like, well, guess what, man? Like that's really on you, right? It's like, I'm not like, hey, and the thing is, there's too many people that like have that victim mindset. They don't know how to like harden their mind and deal with what they got to deal with, right? And accept it, hold themselves accountable. I think one of the biggest things I tell people, you know, when I'm coaching them, life coaching them and stuff, it's just kind of like, you know, hold yourself accountable, man. If you actually need to hold yourself accountable, man, and see how you're going to address the issue.
And actually set those fucking goals for yourself and not be afraid. And there's a lot of people that don't want to fight for anything. They want to fight going down the street and saying, hey, I would rather have a burger than going to better myself. Not like literally, right? Like, we have people that are putting other things before themselves. And I'm glad that you brought up these things, because it has been a big issue, right? It's been a big topic issue. And I do find that within the fitness industry itself, that people that are in the physique bodybuilding world in particular are very orientated. Or what? Focus on. Don't worry, I can delete this. But focus on different aspects of the, like, being an Instagram model and being a professional model and being a professional athlete. Do you find that the people that are in the industry forget these traits when they do become famous, or when they do become popular, or when they are in a certain status?
Yeah, 100%, man. And you know what? I was talking to my buddy in the gym about this just yesterday, actually. And I said, hey, man, I'm like, you know what, dude? It's like, at the end of the day, there's too many people out there that that live this life where they're just like, I need to make sure everybody knows who I am. It's like, you know, I walk in a room and like, I just want to be the loudest, you know, big showy person. It's like, no, man. It's like, one thing I learned early on is like, I want to be that quiet guy that walks into a room, but everybody recognizes me. You know what I mean? And it's not like being like cocky or like cloudy or whatever. It's like, just people recognize you for that hustle. People recognize you because you're always in there putting in work. You know what I mean? People don't recognize you because it's like, oh yeah, you're posting up this or that, or like whatever. They find out who you are, or like how many followers you are, or whatever, and then that's why they're judging their character. Where it's like, where you want to be judged for your hard work. And I think that's one big thing about mental health, man, is when people start focusing you based on your online avatar, people don't judge you
Don't
for
judge
you.
yeah.
For you, it's like they're like the online avatar. It's like what people don't understand. It's like, hey man, anybody can throw up that Sears catalog photo where you're smiling and you know everything is okay. It's like every photo, everything is okay. It's like, hey man, you know, there's a lot of people dealing with a lot of stuff, but the thing is, they take it out on other people. They have that victim mindset, and they don't know how to move forward in life, man.
No, and you're definitely right about that, man. I think what's something that really motivates you in the gym, and what motivates you in your day-to-day life? Like, what would you recommend to your customers, your viewership, or, sorry, delete all this shit. Like, what would you recommend your followers and your viewership, what would you recommend them to do to stay motivated?
You know what, man? I think the best way to stay motivated is have people around you that uplift you, man. Like if you're following any type of content, don't follow like don't follow like these like fakeogram people that like I said, man, that have that like really fake lifestyle, like that overly done, like, you know what I mean? It doesn't seem like super authentic.
Not
like
genuine.
It's just not genuine. It's like and I know that sounds like to some people like a load, but I mean it's like you can easily weed those people out, man. You know, and the problem is we give too much attention to this like fakeogram life. You know what I mean? To the people who are living the extreme fakeogram life, like it's like, and then it's like then you just like develop this culture where it's like, you know, jealousy, envious, this, that, and it's just like, and then people just become really fucked, man. And it's like, you know, and that's why it's like whenever like I'm in the gym, sometimes like I really listen to like David Goggins podcasts too, and like, you know, whenever he says like fuck people, man, it's like don't fuck everybody, like, but I mean like it's more than the sense where it's like, you know what I mean, stop worrying about the noise, stop worrying about the bullshit, focus on yourself, man, because that's it. Don't like, you know, but
keep that drive and move forward,
yeah,
and keep pushing yourself, right?
Yeah.
And would you recommend them to maintain, like, what type of regimen would you recommend them, like being a new athlete?
I'd say like anybody looking at getting into competing, man, I would say the number one thing is do your research, man. Too many people are like, you know, do your research, man.
Do your research.
Do your research. It's like find out what works for you, because what works for me won't work for you. But what I can tell people, what works for everybody is, you know, research, you know, find some exercises that work for you, you know, start off like a couple days a week. You don't have to lift the heaviest weight in the gym. You know, I know a lot of these professional athletes, you know, you see their videos of them like pushing like heavy ass weight, right? But behind the scenes, man, they're not pushing heavy ass weight. They just put that video up just so, you know, they get the views, they get the whatever, right?
And to keep their image, right? And at the end of the day, right, like they've been lifting for over 10 years, probably even longer.
Yeah.
And that's probably a reason why they're lifting way more.
Yeah,
way
man.
more, right? So you gotta pace yourself. You gotta set those small goals for yourself, right? And I think my recommendation is, anyways, also when it comes to this, is like creating small goals for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Create those small goals, and every single day you'll get better and better and better, right?
Yeah.
Because people are just like, I want to get to the top. I want to have 1 million followers. I want to do this. I want to do that. Well, that's great and all. And however, but you know, in the real world, you got to take one step at a time, and you got to really make realistic expectations.
Yeah.
And I think people just don't no longer have that mindset, being like, hey, I actually have to work for something.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to actually like put the time and effort for me and love who I am.
Yeah.
To be able to do this, right? And a lot of the time people rush their own feelings to try to get their own success based on other people. And it could be basically your parents pushing you to do something.
Yeah.
It could be a totally fake aspect of yourself. Meaning that, like, you know, like, am I actually this type of person? And if I'm not, I need to fix that.
Yeah.
And you need to make those small goals. And only we can tell you to do those goals, right? We can only tell you to start making those small goals. So, like, for example, if you want to be fit, you want to lose 10 pounds. Maybe the first week you start off working out 3 to 4 times a week.
Yeah.
You do that for like 2 weeks. Then the next goal is you're going to go to the gym another day. And then you keep adding another day. And you keep adding and adding and adding, right?
And you know what, man? I'm going to add one point to that too. this is another recommendation for people. Some people might disagree to agree.
Yeah.
But please do not post up every other day. You just started in the gym. You got second day you're putting up photo, third day photo, fourth day photo. It's like, that's not how it works. Because at the end of the day, you're just proving to me that you're not doing it for you. It's like in the fitness industry, you just learn like ways to like vet people and stuff like that, like versus like authenticity versus like, you know what I mean? People that are telling you the raw answer. You know, anybody I've ever talked to in the gym, I give them the raw answers. I give them the real answers. I give them the answers that nobody else will tell them, because at the end of the day, it's kind of like the personal trainer trap, right? It's like they always want to keep you in that loop of training. They always want to keep making that money because that's how they're getting paid, right? They keep you in that loop, man, for the most part, right? And I'm not saying that's every personal trainer. I'm saying, you know what I mean, those big box gyms and stuff like that.
I know what you mean, right? Yeah, there's a certain marketing aspect to it. And I think that, like, you know, at the end of the day, like he said, right, if you take a photo every day, you're not going to see your results, right? And at the end of the day, too, there's a time and a place, like he said, right? There's a time and a place to be confident. There's a time and a place to take a photo. Maybe not take a photo at 4 or 5 p.m. on a regular business day where people are coming home to and from work, and you're the guy in the middle taking a bunch of selfies all over the place. Well, people are trying to be focused in their habitat of trying to be successful.
Yeah.
So I think that, like, the biggest lesson is, you know, if you're going to be on social media, if you're going to try to take selfies, you're going to try to do those things, just make sure you're in the right place at the right time. That's basically what I think anyways, right?
And I think the biggest thing too is like just because you see everybody else doing it doesn't mean you need to do it right away. You know what I mean? It's like just too many people aren't being more logical when it comes to this. It's like, when I started, it's like I didn't have like Instagram when I first started like bodybuilding. I wasn't uploading crap. It's like I wasn't doing any of that, man. I was just in it because I had somebody who inspired me to get into the gym and not give a fuck, right? And this is before like the David Goggins culture and stuff, right? Like there's a bodybuilder from Australia named Ziz, and I think a lot of people know who he is, and he's one of the guys that inspired me, and it literally was to set my mind to not giving a fuck. Do whatever you want to do in life, man. Do what makes you happy, and like just go with it. It's like, don't do stuff because like it makes other people happy. Don't upload that photo because, you know, it'll give you a billion views or likes. Don't just work out because, you know, and upload a photo and be like, man, did I get that another 1,000 followers or whatever? You know what I mean? It's like, people need to stop looking at it like that. It's like, do it for fucking you. And is that hard to ask? You know what I mean? It's like
spot on.
Yeah. It's like, is that hard to ask? It's like, hey man, it's like, I know, or like it's like cars, for example. We're talking about cars earlier, man, and like it was funny. It was like I had this one guy in my car, and he was like, "Oh yeah, how much did your car cost?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I got a good deal on it." But the thing is, oh man, is like, it's like when it comes down to it, it's like that's not what matters. It matters that, you know, you must have this car because you enjoy cars. You know what I mean? Or you must be in the gym this much because you enjoy being in the gym.
You love doing what you do.
You love doing what you do. And it's not because like, oh, well, it's like, this is what gets me all the chicks. This is what gets me this. It's literally not about that, man. It's about running your own fucking race. And the sad thing is, though, is if people don't start running their own race, it's like you're gonna end up like a majority of what these Gen Z and Gen Alpha kids are gonna end up, and it's not anywhere good. It's literally they call it the Lost Boys generation, man. Literally, they call it the Lost Boy generation because there's no direction, man. People have zero direction. Like in the direction that people are getting pushed in is literally like the direction where it's one against the other, and it's like all over the place, and it's just like frustrating when people should be focusing on like the main thing. It's like, what makes you happy? You know, like don't be like I'm not against being like the people out here like doing like social justice stuff, like by any means. But I'm saying, like, man, like, are you doing this just to, like, you know, like, because you're frustrated with yourself or something, you know what I mean? Or, like, you're frustrated about whatever. And life's going to play out the way life's going to play out. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, whatever's meant to happen in life will happen. And for anybody who says otherwise, it's like, please tell me you know the future plan, like what's going to happen the next minute. You can't. It's like life plays out the way it plays out. You know what I mean? So
no, and thank you so much for like taking the time to explain everything and to actually like be real and show me real content, right? And really understanding that, you know, the only person that can start change is by us, and by us enforcing the fact that it's you that can make that difference. It's you that can really drive your own success. And if you don't do that for yourself, nobody's going to do it for you. And he's explaining it. I'm explaining it, you know, and he's a professional athlete. He's a professional model. He's reached his dreams and his goals and his attributes because he fucking believed in himself. He put the time and effort to really become the man he wants to be. And he believed in it to the point where he said, you know what? No, you know what? I'm going to focus on me. I'm going to focus on the time for me. And every time when he did that, he executed his goals. And that's why I had this interview with him. This is why I want to talk to him. This is why I want to spend that time to really share what he has to offer, because he is a great man. He's really great at executing goals and completing tasks. And this is the type of people that really help our society in a lot of great ways, right? A lot of people don't have this leadership anymore. Not a lot of people want to wake up and say, hey, I want to fucking do this for me. I want to do this for my life. But nobody else wants to put in the time. And that's the number one issue, is that you don't want to put in time. And I think at the end of the day, that's an excuse. I think you should put in the time for yourself always and love who you are. And it's great for you to actually share this and actually tell me, hey, like, you know, this is how you actually do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
man.
It's super easy. It's super easy, and it's very justifiable. And this is why I do this channel. I try to provide alternative health methods for people to be successful within their day-to-day life. And if you follow this trick and you follow this tip and advice from Julian and you listen to what he has to offer, put that time into yourself. Don't play the name card in your head and say that you're this person that you're not. And don't try to play the victim card, and actually try to put in the confidence and believe in yourself. I'm telling you right now, you're going to find a lot of fucking results. You're going to find a lot of drive, and you're going to find a lot of good values about yourself that you maybe didn't determine before, because now you're challenging yourself. And I'm telling you that every day when you start challenging yourself, there's opportunities everywhere. So I'd like to thank you so much for talking on my show and talking to me and having the privilege. It was a
yeah, it's always a pleasure, dude.
It was a great time actually getting to get to know you and know what you offer, right? And I'm glad that you were so real about everything, right? We need more bodybuilders and professional athletes like yourself that are willing to come to the public and say, hey, you know, this is how you actually make it. This is not them selling a product. This is not them saying, hey, this is what I have to offer. Instead, you're offering people ways of how to be successful within physical health. And I thank you so much for doing that. It means a lot, right? It helps a lot of people within the world we live in. And thank you so much, right? And it all starts with you. And I thank you so much for everything.
No, man, Ryan, like I said, dude, like when you got a hold of me for the podcast, man, I was like, and I see what you were doing, and I, listened to some of your other material. I was like, man, I'm like, you know what, you're doing a really great thing, right? And the thing is, though, is that in what I want, like yourself and like anybody else listening to this to take away from this, man, is like, really, man, like, run your own race, love everybody around you. You know what I mean? Like we're in this together, man. Like, we have one life, we have this one world, man. And it's just sad to see like, everybody kind of like going against each other or whatever. But hey, man, at the end of the day, like you can be the one person that can make the difference. Just like yourself, like doing this podcast, you're making the difference. It's just like me, man, everybody, like as long as you're making that dent in the universe, it's like my dent in the universe is in the gym, and anybody who comes across my path, you know what I mean? And I've met like a shit ton of people, man, and I've inspired a lot of people. But the thing is I always kept humble, man. It's like never forget your roots, man. Never forget where you came from. You know what I mean? It's like, and look back at your past, man, but be thankful that happened, right? Don't be a victim. Be thankful that happened, and use that as leverage to push yourself to do better and always do better, man. Never think you cannot do something. You know what I mean? If you can come out from the East Coast and I can come out from the East Coast with like nothing but like, you know, clothes on our back or whatever, as typical as that sounds. But, you know,
it's true though. Like, you know what I mean? Like we both grew up from Toronto, and you know, we started off in a backpack and filled with clothes. I started living in a garage, living $150 a month in British Columbia. I can relate to you on so many levels, right? And now we're living this success because we started believing in ourselves. We started loving each other. And I thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen to this. I do
appreciate
really appreciate it, right? And I appreciate you on this show.
Yeah, you too, Ryan.